My name is Ross Scott, and I am the founder of an informal movement called Stop Killing Games. I am here to speak briefly about what I and many others consider one of the worst problems in the video games industry, which is the effective destruction of video games that have already been sold to customers. The vast majority of video games are designed to work indefinitely. There are video games from the 1970s that still work today. And there are video games from the 1990s that connect to the internet to play online that also work today, even if the companies that made them no longer exist. However, over time, the video games industry has been designing more and more games to connect online directly to the publisher in order to work. This creates a dependency on the publisher for the game to function that did not used to exist. This is not a problem while the game is being supported, but when publishers decide to end that support, they very frequently do nothing to allow customers to continue playing their games. This means that every single customer who bought games of this nature have their purchase taken away from them by the publisher. Furthermore, publishers often implement extensive countermeasures to prevent any tampering, ensuring that repair for many games is impossible. Since the publisher created this dependency in the first place and controls when it ends, this could be seen as planned obsolescence. This has led to an increasing number of video games that customers have paid for to be completely unusable, effectively destroying them. While not all of them, here is a list of many of the titles that are now unplayable in any form. The real total is more than this, numbering in the hundreds, and the rate that this is occurring is increasing. An analogy for what is happening to video games would be of silent films of 100 years ago, where it's estimated 75% of all films made from that time are lost, due to the studios not valuing the films and instead melting them down for their silver content after showing them. What is worse is this practice is entirely preventable. The majority of video games are not designed to fail like this. That is a deliberate decision made by game publishers. It is possible to design games to incorporate end-of-life plans without more difficulty than any other aspect of creating a video game. This is not speculation. Here are some examples of games that have done this already. All of these titles used to require an online connection to the publisher, and all of them had their support discontinued. Yet in each of these cases, when support ended, the game was modified to continue working while no longer requiring a connection to the publisher. It is important to emphasize that when a game is shut down properly, no further support is needed again. A common misconception is that we are seeking endless support from video game companies. This is not true at all. We are only seeking for support to end in a responsible way. However, the state of most online games today is very hostile to consumers. Not long ago, a high-profile game of this nature was shut down called The Crew. The Crew was unique. It was the second largest driving game ever made and contained an approximation of the continental United States. It is one of the best portrayals of the country I have seen, capturing many of the small details of driving across it. It was also popular, with up to 12 million players worldwide. However, customers have been powerless to retain their purchase of this game due to a few reasons. First, Ubisoft, a French company subject to EU laws, has refused repeatedly to do anything to allow customers to continue playing the game that they already paid for. Next, in order to play the game, customers had to agree to a license agreement that contains terms such as the publisher being able to change the terms at any time, the publisher being able to terminate the game at any time for any reason, and the customer being required to destroy all copies of the game. Finally, there is a lack of clarity of what rights the customer has in regards to games of this nature. Customers were sold The Crew as a one-time purchase with no expiration date, but it was designed to require an external service under the publisher's control to function. If games of this nature are considered goods, then the customer is clearly being deprived of a functioning product after the point of sale. If they are considered services, then the customer was never informed of when the game would end at the time of purchase. Thus, they were deprived of essential information to make an informed purchase decision. Currently, a customer buying a video game with an online requirement has almost no rights and no possibility to retain their purchase. This is not good business. This feels like a situation where new business practices are happening at a pace faster than the law can respond to. For example, in Germany, when we tried contacting various consumer agencies about this problem, a representative from the EVZ told us there is no clear legal regulation for this, after explaining the problem to them. We feel this lack of clarity is being weaponized by the industry to destroy customer purchases while depriving them of essential information in order to increase profits. We consider this an assault on the concept of ownership itself. It is our hope that the appropriate authorities become aware of this problem and examine the legality of what is happening in the video games industry. We hope for a conclusion that both protects consumer rights and prevents the deliberate destruction of video games as a medium. Thank you for your time.